Samuela Vunisa.
Space and time. And the try.
Been playing rugby all my life, and fortunate enough to be in Saracens. And rugby for me started way young, as you could know, with all Fijian boys. So started back in school, pretty much back in Sunday schools, and pretty much, and you could play and mix around. And I think rugby was the main sport, or was the only thing we could think of when I was young. Didn't play any other sport, but apart from rugby. And moving to New Zealand when I was 16 was pretty tough, especially for me and my family. There's just two of us in our family, so me and my older sister, and I'm the youngest. And I could admit I was mommy's boy, so it was hard for me to leave home. But I think it was, looking back, they've got me this far, and I never regret any decisions I've made. So. Learned a lot from rugby, learning everything. It's a new culture, and obviously everyone knows New Zealand is known for rugby, and it's a culture there too. So I was there for 2 years, and then I moved to another school in Wanganui. It was Wanganui Collegiate. So it was a private school, and it was an eye opener for me. Being in a school that a lot of rich kids go to. So I was fortunate enough to make, till now I've got good friends that are from there, and I know it's been really nice. And New Zealand is a place, I always cherish in my growing up career. Now that was a big challenge for me personally, especially telling my parents to move over. So it's pretty much, New Zealand was close enough because it's 3 hours of flight away from home, so it was pretty much close to home. And Italy was about 2 days of flight. So big Europe, it was a hard decision, especially for me to do at that time. I was about 22, 23, I think, 23, 22, and moving to Italy I had to think about a lot of, especially my family, and getting away from there and moving from New Zealand to, my dream was, I wanted to play Super Rugby. Playing in Fiji, that's all you watch in the TV was Super Rugby. So I had the opportunity that came knocking, and went and spoke. Was my mentor at that time was the Taranaki coach at that time was Colin Cooper, and he was a big influence in my career, and in New Zealand especially. Of me moving, and I had a talk with him just to see what are his thoughts to me moving to Italy. So he told me, take this chance. It's rugby. It's a temporary career, and you'd love to make the most of it and see the world especially. But in my head, I really didn't want him to say yes to go. I wanted him to just tell me to stay and try for Super Rugby, but I had to, make a decision to move over. So that was it. And I just tried and came over to Italy and went to Calvisano. So Calvisano was a little town. It was really small, smaller than St. Albans. And they had players that went through there was Nick Little, some players that played the Fijian boys that went through there, Anthony Savondo, a lot of Fijian boys that been through in Calvisano, and I went there my first year. So I was planning just to go for my first year, and I was thankful enough that the big language barrier was always a factor for me, and I don't know how to pretty much approach myself to the Italians or the Italian way of life. So I was just pretty much, as Fijians are laid back and just see what goes wrong. So I was just pretty much just going with the flow with what was happening, and pretty much I had the help of a good friend of mine in still in Kavisan at the moment was Paul Griffin. He's from New Zealand. He's there, played for Italy too, and he's been a long time in Calvisano, and he was a really good friend of mine, and he really helped me with that transition, being in Italy, and just felt like I wasn't homesick or anything like that. So. I got selected in November test and had that big opportunity to play against the Springboks, which I always admired looking up to, and the players that played there and how they are as a country itself, how they are molded as a rugby nation with their national anthem, with the people, they're passionate, and it was a big experience for me, just being in that corner, being in that environment, and the only I think only little regret I wish I had was to have all my family back there in Italy, and I know it was far away from home, and I knew I think they were up early 3 o'clock, or I think 2:30 or 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning, just to be up there watching me run around. I think Mom was more worried than anything. I think my house, our family house back in the village was full of everyone just enjoying, and I think for me it was special time. I didn't really think I would go this far, and standing up, hearing the national anthem of Italy, I had to learn it too, which was a hard thing for me at first. But I had the national anthem on my iPod on the playlist for the whole week just to memorize the words. But I think I still don't know if you can see it. If you watch it back, I think you see me just lip singing, but it wasn't really, nothing was going on. But yeah, doing the national anthem, singing that, and then playing against players that I never thought I would play with. Sergio Parise, Castro Giovanni, all the big names of Italy rugby, and I was so lucky to be part of it. Sergio, he's obviously a world-class player. Italy is fortunate enough, and the world rugby is good enough. He's so lucky to have a player like him in his caliber and still going at this time. He's a world-class player, and I have all respect for him. And being my first time in the camp and seeing him, doing what he has to do and stuff, he's so humble, and he's really caring, and he thinks of the squad, and he does everything that benefits the squad, and he pushes hard as much as he can just to help out. And I'm so thankful that he gave me some things I've learned in my career, and I'm thankful to be part of him. He might never know when he retires. He's still got a lot of years back in him, but when he retires, I'd be fortunate enough to say I played with one of the greatest. At that time, I had a talk with my wife, and the decision was pretty easy for me. I think I wanted to learn more about rugby, and getting older, not 19 or 18 anymore. I think to learn a lot about rugby, and this is the place for me. I knew that coming to Saracens, I would learn a lot, take a lot out of it, and get the benefits of rugby out of it. And I think moving from Italy to Saracens was not a big decision for me. It was an easy, straightforward decision that I know I'll benefit a lot from. And being here till now, I've learned a lot, and my wife is happy here and makes everything a bit easier. Just everything settles down, and I've grown into knowing that these guys, they got my back, and we've got each other's back, and it's just a band of brotherhood that we'll cherish after rugby. The Pacific Islanders that formed the team back in the days when they played Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. It was a testimony of what Pacific Islanders they can produce, and if we could make that to be a super franchise back in the islands, it would be a very, very positive outcome, not just for the islands, but for for the whole of Super Rugby. Because in Super Rugby or in European or in all the leagues around Japan. If most of the percentage of Pacific Islanders are everywhere in France, in the UK, in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all the rugby countries, and to bring that into the islands, that Super Rugby, it gives a mindset to for like players that are back home to work something towards. When I find the thing that I find when I go back home, boys and kids are training, teams are training so hard just to make a club team and play sevens and everything. And with that, any kid or someone that plays rugby, you want to have a goal. And obviously the goal in Fiji, everyone can become a national rep, everyone can become a sevens player. So to have that into a perspective too, we could aim for those realistic goals that not just the national team that's looking, but you got the super franchise will make door opens just for kids to be exposed and coming into Europe or coming into Japan with everything that's utilized with them. So it'd be a great day and great news for Fiji or the island rugby. It's really massive. Even me playing at that time, playing for Italy, moving. I played my first Six Nation, and I moved up. We played in Twickenham, and just having a Fijian, cheering out. Despite they living here, and I was back in Italy. It gives you a perspective of how far away you are from home. You might be a 10 mile or 10,000 miles away from home, but there'll always be a supporter or a fan or someone, a close family member, or even just a Fijian. He knows that the support counts, and I'm thankful enough that just moving into coming into Saracens too is a big community here. And my first time to go into the Fiji Day was last year, going into Ipswich. Just seeing all Fijians, in a place that away from home and looking after each other and caring for each other. It takes that gap from being far away from home, and it just draws you closer. And you wanna do as much as you can. The opportunities are out here, obviously, and after rugby or during everything that you want to do. And I'm just thankful that coming into the transition here, we had families that was here already that we could transit into, and we were thankful enough that made life easier for both of us on and off the field. I think it's number one supporters. I think I'd love even myself till I think the World Cup, the World Cup in England, when Fiji played. I had the Italian jersey outside, but I had my little singlet vest in, my Fijian singlet inside with me, just cheering the Bill boys on when they played England, Wales, and Australia. I think it's branded to you when you're brought up. As you can see, when Ben Ryans and the boys lift up the Olympic medals, how it means, not just for the older generation, but for the younger ones. Where we'd go and see it. So I think growing up in Fiji, that being a supporter of Fiji is always in your heart. It's in the blood, and it'll never go away. Even if you have to play for another international team, it'll always be there. And the recent success with Hong Kong, you see the big fans back in Hong Kong. The Fijian supporters is always there. It's a big, I would say, it's a positive thing for Fiji sevens, and just not for sevens, 15s when the supporters are there. I would say for any team, I'm thankful like Saracens when we play at home. It's just a big lift, and Fijian supporters, they're there, their numbers. You got everyone doing their items and their little celebrations, and for Fiji sevens, it's a big boost. And now being the Olympic champions, it's just up another level with the supporters. There you've got like the big famous Fiji 8 men. They've been with the Fiji Sevens for over the last few years now, and I know they've been a big supporters, not just for the Sevens but with the 15s too. You got nice players that represented it, and players that have been part of it, and I'm thankful enough, not just playing for Fiji but being a Fijian to be count myself as a Fiji 8 man, than just being out there cheering for the boys. And it's a dream. I'd love when Fiji succeeds. It makes my day, and for the last win that in the Hong Kong, I know any Fiji 8 man out there would be so happy and so proud of what the boys achieved. I'd love to go back international. I wouldn't lie. International is something that I've tasted, and something I'd love to go back to, and I'd work towards that, and that's the big goal. But it's more for me. It's more just to be more involved in rugby, just to have that chance again to showcase my style and showcase myself, and everything will fall. It's always the case. For me, it's there's little goals that I need to get, and just getting this injury, getting it right, and that'll be my main goal at the moment. But from now, onwards, I'd love to be back involved in the Italy side, and with Saracens almost finishing this year with the season, would love to have that back-to-back trophy again. But it'll be hard. But I think for me, I'll take each season as it comes, and we'll have to replan and rephrase again after the end of the season. No, young players still coming through. No, I think the big advice for me is always remember where you come from. Always remember where you started. It's a big. It can mean a lot. It can mean a lot, but it's simple. It's a simple word, but for me, always remember where you come from. Always remember when you started, and family is everything. Main thing that you do, put God first. If it doesn't go just for rugby, but just for philosophy of life. Put God first. Times will be tough. Times will be tough, and it's not a way of exiting out, but for me, I see it as a way of, the Almighty will never put you in a situation that He knows that you'll never come out from. Oh, there's a lot, or at least there's a lot of names I could come up with, but for me personally, a player that I enjoyed played with, and I'm fortunate to play against with was Billy Vunisa. He's a player that has come so far, and in these few years, he's made a really name for himself, and for me, he's a good character, a funny character, you could say too. But for me, he's a big role model for players out there, not just for just not for England players, but Pacific Islanders too. He's really humble, and he really knows where he comes from, and he really accepts. He's proud to be Tongan too, and he's a player that I'd never want to mess around with. I'd love to play with, but not against with. But I had to come against him one time, and just playing with. I learned a lot from him, and he's been we've been here in Saracens. He's made life easier for me, and with helping me out with everything that I've learned today, and I'd count him as he's up there with world class. My idol, pretty much, I think was my dad. He didn't really represent Fiji. He didn't play for Fiji at that time, and I think he was a big idol for me. I think it was just the perspective of life, how you approach life, and I think he didn't really I wasn't really a sporty boy, or really took out sports seriously. I was just more of just staying with mom and being here at home. So I think Dad was pretty much a big enforcer with me, with being my idol. I really wish he was still around at this time to be seeing how far I've come, and to be here where I am. He's always been there, and I know he's still out there, he's up top looking at me and blessing me. But I think he's the main strive where I've been to nowadays. He just built me, not just a rugby player, but just a person, and just how I am nowadays, you know, and he's just been there throughout my career, and I know, you know, I'm in a good place right now. But all I could think is him, and I know he'll be smiling, or maybe still thinking that I'm not good enough at the moment. I think trying to make me to work harder. But yeah, it's my idol. Never live out. Is just my dad, and yeah, no, he wasn't sporty, but yeah, I think he was.